Mental health problems affect approximately 6 million people in the UK, mostly split between anxiety and depression, the two more common mental illnesses. Only 5.5% of the total UK health research spending is used on treating mental illnesses.
I think people expect you to get over it. You feel as if you are letting people down by saying, I'm not better yet.
People don't talk about it, and because they don't talk about it, it's sort of swept under the carpet and you have to pretend that everything's okay.
Like if you have a cold or a flu, it's visible and people can empathise and sympathise with you and see that you're not well. But it's very difficult when, with something like depression and anxiety, you can easily put on a mask almost to go out in the world and act like you're okay when actually you're not.
When you go to tell somebody you have a mental health issue, there's always that worry that they'll, I don't know, treat you differently.
It makes me feel sick to my stomach. It makes me shake, it makes me feel unsafe, it makes me, I think because of the experiences that I've had, I doubt my own judgment. When it hits you, it sort of makes you feel, it's very hard to sort of talk about how it makes you feel because it almost makes you feel, for me anyway, nothing almost. It's terrifying.
When I'm not actually depressed, it makes me more concerned of when I'm going to get depressed and I work myself up about it. So that's again going back to the anxiety thing. So yeah, it makes me feel quite down and not myself as such, not myself at all.
It's definitely had an impact on my children, and I think that's the thing that's the hardest to deal with, because with me, if I can't do something, I can't do it. If it's something that the children would have enjoyed, but I can't do it, so they can't do it, that's the worst thing. That's the hardest, because you kind of get the guilt. I don't like going out, really. I go out, I don't like going out, I don't like socialising very much. I feel very uncomfortable if people stand behind me in a queue. I hate the dark. I don't sleep. So yeah, I've suffered with insomnia for a very long time now.
It made me lose myself as such. So I started to feel as if I wasn't normal. So thinking that you're not normal as such makes you start to lose yourself, and you start to lose your happiness in you, and it makes you feel lonely. I don't quite know how to explain it as such, but it makes you feel really lonely. Hi, I'm Kirsty and I suffered depression from a really young age, and I can't actually remember when it started from as such, but I just know I was quite a young age. I was basically attacked about last year, and I didn't cope with that very well at all. Like I wasn't in any state of mind to go out, but I knew I needed to keep myself busy. But then I didn't want to keep myself busy with people because I didn't want to be with people. So it was a really confusing time, and I lost myself for a bit and thought I was a psychopath, and thought that I was never going to feel any better, that I was going to be in this hole forever. My friends noticed it in me, and that was quite scary because my friends started acting different around me because they didn't know how to cope, because I didn't know how to cope with myself. So again, that was quite a difficult time, and in the end, I did go to the doctors for some help about it all, but because of the situation that had happened, they wouldn't help me because of legal reasons. So again, it was quite a lonely time, a very lonely time. I didn't know where to go to.
Wiltshire Mind provide help and support to those suffering with mental issues. This is Carolyn Beale, the CEO of Wiltshire Mind.
We provide a variety of services for people in Wiltshire, ranging from support groups. We provide peer support groups in the major towns in Wiltshire. So we provide 6 of those in Melksham, Trowbridge, Chippenham, Malmesbury, Salisbury and Devizes. They run on a weekly basis and provide a safe place for anyone experiencing mental health issues. In September we provided 210 sessions of counselling, which seems to work very well and helps people progress. We also provide Polish counselling in Trowbridge. This is for the community who often work within Polish groups, actually spend most of their time with their Polish friends and actually struggle to gain mental health support due to the language barrier. We also provide a men's group that's based in Wiltshire, and that runs in the evening. That group has been set up to provide support for men who often find it more difficult to interact in a mixed group. And we realise that the incidence of suicide in men, particularly in the southwest, is very high, and we want to address that. And on top of these services, we do provide a telephone service where anyone experiencing mental health issues can phone through, get advice and potentially go on our list for counselling. So I would urge you to get in touch with Wiltshire Mind if you live in Wiltshire, or any other local Mind if you're outside of the area.
So if I'm having a bad day, I just don't want to face the world. I don't want to do it.
But the thing that I've learned is that it follows a pattern, because I get shaky. I absolutely shake from head to foot. When I get to the point where I've stopped feeling sick and I'm shaking, I know I'm coming out the other side, and I know it won't be, and it'll be over at some point.
I start feeling incredibly lonely, and then I can't keep my attention on anything, and everything begins to irritate me. And then the irritation slowly sort of morphs into just absolute nihilism, you know, absolute just not seeing the worth in anything, and then it just spirals, really, I suppose, spirals down and down and down until you are in such a never-ending black pit you can never see your way out of it.
I count red things. So because the panic that I feel and the fear that I feel is so irrational, I count red things because it helps you to realise that actually you're in a safe place. So I look around and it gives you something concrete to focus on and something tangible to focus on.
I talk to people. I like to talk to people if I feel like that. If I don't talk to people, then I'll start to go insane. I'll start to feel like I'm going insane. I'll start thinking differently, overthinking things, working myself up, and then I'll just like break down. So I need to talk to people, really. I usually just talk to my mates, really.
Unwinding at the end of the day with my partner is great. We sit and we'll watch a movie, even if it's a weekday evening, even if it means staying up a bit later, just give us some time to ourselves once the children are in bed. Being able to talk to friends and family about your day, about your frustrations, knowing that you have a support network around you of people that will just listen and not judge or even understand. That helps a lot, especially with frustrations, levels of stress and anxiety. I have friends that I can just offload onto, and that's really, really helpful. I am Hayley Spencer. I was diagnosed in October of 2015 with postnatal depression, and soon after that it was discovered that I was also suffering with anxiety. I lead a very busy lifestyle, I always have, and it's something that's never really bothered me before. I'm self-employed, and I involve myself in a lot of community activities, so I'm always on the go. When I was pregnant, I had a lot of support around me, which was absolutely fantastic, but it became a lot more difficult after my daughter was born. We had a very difficult birth, and I was out of action for 3 months after that, which not being in control, not having control over my body, not being able to do things for myself was very, very difficult. I think that contributed a lot to the depression. My daughter was ill when she was born, and there was a lot of psychological pressure when you're pregnant and have a newborn child, to be able to bond with your child, to be able to connect and get to know each other and have this unbreakable bond. Yes, Robin. Because she spent time in intensive care when she was born, my hormones were coming through, and I convinced myself that she hadn't bonded with me, that she didn't know who I was, that she hated me, that I couldn't be the one to comfort her. And it was and I think that contributed a lot to my breakdown eventually in September of 2015. I had a few other personal issues that I was handling as a result of being a new mum and having some past family issues from my childhood, and they came back to the front. So there was a lot of different factors that came to it, but the breaking point came when I started to be aware that I wasn't giving the best care to my child that I should be able to, and that was when I realised that I needed to get a handle on the situation.
I'm Jack. I suffer from depression and anxiety. This first occurred around about 10 years ago, I would say, possibly 11. I think there's several issues surrounding men with mental health. I feel like it's not looked at as much as it should be. You know, in this country especially, we are able to collect statistics, and you know, we're in a position to be able to do that. And you know, 3/4 of all suicides are men, and that's just a fact that you can't sort of brush aside. You know, it's the biggest killer of men in this country. Under the age of 35 is the biggest killer, and that's just not something that I think as a society we can let stand. Men especially use bad coping mechanisms, you know. I mean, we take, you know, statistically far more men die through drug use, far more men die through alcohol use. And there's got to be a reason, you know. It can't just be, oh, it's just a fact, you know, like men die because they die. There has to be a specific reason. I think the root cause bit is mental health. I think there's a very few amounts of people in society that are more lonely than a man with mental health issues. You know, I think it is one of the loneliest sort of things you can be, is a man with mental health issues. When it comes to men seeking support for mental health issues, I feel that the problem is that society isn't geared towards that, but the only way we can change the way society thinks, and the only way we can begin to fix all these problems, you know, with men and mental health, is by more of us standing up and saying, look, we have mental health issues, and you know, and we want to be men still, you know, we still want to be, you know, masculine and stuff, but we need help, you know, and everybody needs help sometimes. Whether you're the strongest of the strong or the weakest of the weak, you need help, you know, we all do. I probably, if I'm entirely honest, I probably wouldn't be here now if I didn't seek help. I probably would have become one of the statistics. So, you know, I think that it's incredibly important for all those around you who love you, and for all those you love, it's incredibly important to stand up and, you know, try and get help and change those statistics.
You know, the more people that are educated in this, the more people that know more about it, the stronger future generations will be to help support those with mental health problems and help treat it sooner rather than later.
Let them know that it can be alright, it will be okay, because it's just a day. It's just one day of it. It's not even one day, it could be a week, it could be however long it is, but you're not going to stay like that forever.
The only advice I can give is just imagine the worst time in your life, and imagine that the person you're talking to is going through that right now, and you know, telling them to get over it is never going to help.
I think you need to try and accept people. It's not, everyone's got a tiny little something. Everyone, no matter what they say, no matter what they show, everyone has got a little quirk that makes them have a degree of mental illness, I would say. Everyone tries to cover it up because no one wants people to know that they're not perfect. Talk to people. If you think that counselling or hypnotherapy or anything like that will help you, have a go. It's not, you know, it's not going to hurt. But if you talk to someone, you've always got a way out. You've always got someone that can help you.
You need to remember to find yourself. You need to remember that the way you're thinking isn't going to hurt you, and that your feelings can never hurt you. Feelings do, like, your emotions can hurt, they can get hurt, but like, it can't physically harm you. You need to remember that don't be worried, don't be scared about it.
But we don't know if we're normal or not until we go and speak to someone who knows, you know? So I think if you've got an issue and have problems, definitely go and seek help, because either way, you know, you'll come out the better for it. Whether you find out there isn't anything wrong with you or there is, you'll come out the better for it.
A very good friend of mine said to me that it will pass. It's like, you know, it's like a wave. It feels like it's crashing over you, but it does pass. You know, nobody's ever died from a panic attack as far as I'm aware, so you just ride it out.
Talk therapy is a prescribed therapy, and even though it may not necessarily be something for you, it is the doorway to getting the help that you need. There are lots of different options for people, but you have to speak up, and don't ever be afraid to say, I'm not okay.
It does get better. It gets a lot better. You need to just find something that you enjoy. You need to find whatever it is that you enjoy and just stick at it and progress. If you have something to progress to, then you have something to work on, you have something to distract you, you have something to make yourself feel better. And then when you've achieved something as well, that is incredible. You honestly just need to find something to do for yourself.
Learn to manage it. You can start to see the positive. I don't think you're ever cured, sorry. But life's still happening out there and you don't want to miss it.
There is a light at the end of the tunnel, even though that light can seem a really long way away sometimes.
With age and with people knowing, because I'm braver now than I thought I would be.
Everybody needs help sometimes. Whether you're the strongest of the strong or the weakest of the weak, you need help. You know, we all do.
Everyone tries to cover it up because no one wants people to know that they're not perfect.
There are more than 200 classified forms of mental illness. They affect different people in different ways and therefore are treated differently. But make no mistake, they are treatable, and by removing the shackles of silence towards mental issues, we can take another huge step towards improving the lives of all.